Hi there, beautiful souls, and welcome back to another empowering episode of the Live Life Unapologetically podcast. I am your host, Shannon K, and today we are diving headfirst into a topic that is like a breath of fresh air for your spirit, the self-care revolution. Get ready to unleash the power of prioritizing your needs without an ounce of guilt. So grab your favorite cup of self-love brew and let's get started. When you hear the word self-care, what comes to mind? Maybe it's fluffy robes, scented candles, and serene spa days. But let's take a journey beyond the surface, shall we? We're diving deep into the sacred art of self-care, one that's more than skin deep, more than pampering. It is a practice that touches the very core of who you are. Sacred self-care is about tending the garden inside you with love and nurturing that fully embraces your mind, body, and soul. It's not just sporadic indulgence. It's a daily rhythm that is essential as the air you breathe. Imagine your self-care routine as a sanctuary, a haven you craft for your well-being, where each act is a ritual of self-love. This isn't a one-size-fits-all deal either, my loves. Sacred self-care is deeply personal. It's about what resonates with your soul, the activities that light you up and make your heart do a little dance. It's journaling by the window, taking mindful walks, dancing like no one's watching, or even savoring a cup of tea in solitude. The key is to tap into what makes your heart sing. Here's the twist. Sacred self-care isn't just confined to those moments you set aside. It's so much more. It's not about sporadic self-care splurges. It's about infusing self-love into every fiber of your being, every nook and cranny of your day. Think about it. The morning stretches that welcome your body to a new day. The quiet moment of reflection over lunch. The soothing cup of chamomile tea before bed. These are ways you water the seeds of your sacred self-care to grow a lush garden full of life. As you embark on the sacred self-care revolution, remember that sacred self-care isn't a chore. It is a birthright. It is an ongoing conversation with yourself, a commitment to honor the temple that is your body, mind, and soul. It is about recognizing that you deserve this, that by nurturing yourself, you're creating a life that radiates from the inside out. To do this, we have to talk about the barriers that are standing in the way of your sacred self-care journey. We have all faced them, those internal voices that tell us we don't have time, or that prioritizing ourselves is somehow selfish. But fear not, because today we are breaking down those barriers one by one. I've dealt with all of the below barriers at some point or throughout my life. And my freedom in life, the best life came to me when I embraced sacred self-care. It opened up so many things. It let me step authentically into who I was. It let me live a life of fulfillment. It gave me everything my heart desired. Because I put myself in the forefront. I got sick a little over 3 years ago, and my life changed forever. And that's a story for another day. But I had no choice but to care for myself for the first time in my life. For the first time in my life, instead of doing everything for everyone, the only thing I could do was take care of me. It took everything in me just for me to care for me, let alone me trying to be the end-all be-all for everyone else in my life and everything else that was going on in my life. And it was in that moment of time that I was able to break free, that I was able to understand that a lot of the barriers I faced when taking care of myself came from being conditioned not to take care of me, being conditioned to neglect myself, to being conditioned to put myself last. And so we're going to go through all of those barriers. And I want you to think about the ones you've come across, or maybe the ones that you're still caught up in that keep you from having sacred self-care in your life. Barrier number one is the classic I'm too busy. It is the excuse that we have all used at some point. And yes, I said the excuse. What I learned through my journey, what I learned through having more time freedom in my life, which is something I truly desired, that I wanted to be in charge of my time, was we are very good at using circumstances to make an excuse to not do the things that we actually want to do. And we love to use the excuse of I'm too busy, especially in our culture today that keeps us going, going, going. Oh, I'm too busy for self-care. But we have to reframe that to say self-care must come first so that I can be the best me wherever I go. When you take the time to recharge, you are refueling yourself to tackle everything else with more clarity and energy. You are the master of your time. And that goes into boundaries. When you say, I'm too busy, you need to give something a boundary to give yourself that time. Barrier number two, and boy, this one was a hard one for me. Oh, so hard. It was hard. I mean, even the profession I was in, it was so hard because I was an educator in the public school system. It's selfish. Self-care is selfish. How many times have we fallen into this guilt trap? Like, I felt guilty as a mom. I felt guilty as a teacher. I felt guilty in so many areas of my life that if I took care of me, if I poured into myself on a continual basis during the day, that I was inevitably hurting someone else or not caring about someone else, that I was being selfish and that I was doing bad things. That's really what I thought. I grew up feeling that way, that I had to be a sacrificial lamb to everyone and everything else, and that if you were not self-neglecting, then you were selfish, which is not further from the truth. And I had to overcome that limiting belief. I had to realize I could serve and take care of myself. It's recognizing that by taking care of yourself, you're better equipped to show up for others. It's like the oxygen mask on a plane. You secure your own before assisting others. And I know we hear this all the time, but we don't put it into practice because we still have the limiting belief of selfishness. And that's a really hard one to get over. It's a really big barrier because it has been conditioned into us in this society from the time we were born, that you must first do for others before you do for yourself. Self-care is not selfish. It is self-preservation. Barrier number three is I don't deserve it. So now let's squash that thought right here, right now, because you deserve all the love, care, and kindness in the world. Your worth isn't defined by what you do for others. It's inherent. Your worth is inherent. So you do deserve it. You deserve nurturing that worth through sacred self-care as a powerful act of self-respect. Once again, you're conditioned not to want to do that. You are conditioned that you don't have inherent worth, but you do. And you deserve to nurture that through the sacred act of self-care. Barrier number four is what will people think? The fear of judgment. We come across that a lot, right, in this show, the fear of judgment. But guess what? Your self-care journey isn't up for debate. Your self-care journey is personal, intimate, and entirely yours. Embrace it with pride. And remember that those who truly care about you will applaud you for committing to your well-being. I have two friends I speak with who have, like, on a regular basis, who really seen me go through this journey of transformation. And when I get on the phone with them, just on the phone, not even in person, but on the phone, they're like, oh my gosh, you sound wonderful. You sound amazing. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. I can hear the difference. That is people who truly care about you and support you and applaud your commitment to your well-being. Barrier number 5. I don't know where to start. Don't worry, my lovely warriors, because that's exactly what we're here for. The path to sacred self-care begins small with intentional steps. It's about acknowledging that it is a journey and not a destination, and that every effort you make is a victory. When I first started, I started with a morning routine, and it just grew and grew and grew. And then my life shifted and changed a little bit, and so my self-care switched and changed a little bit. Because it's a journey and not a destination, it's about fueling yourself in a way that feels good to you no matter what season of life you're in. So I want you to grab your sledgehammers and start smashing those barriers to bits. Let's go over what those barriers were again. These are the most common that come up when I'm speaking with clients. I'm too busy. It's selfish. I don't deserve it. What will people think? I don't know where to start. Those are the most 5 common. There may be more. And if you can think of more come to mind as you're listening to this, you can take the sledgehammer and smash those to bits too. You are worth every ounce of effort. You are worth every ounce of self-love. As we move forward, I'll share some practical, empowering steps that will arm you against these barriers and help you to forge your own path towards sacred self-care. So I really want you to think about how you're planting this, because we have those barriers, and those barriers lead to one big thing most of the time, which is guilt when you start to go on the path to sacred self-care, because I have these barriers, I have these limiting beliefs, and they translate to this feeling of guilt. So I live in Texas, and it's dry here. Our sand, our ground, our garden, whatever, our soil is clay where I live. And my front yard, I never really watered it. I didn't do anything with it. Just like myself. I didn't really ever do anything with myself. So my front yard, you couldn't plant in it. It was hard as a rock. Like you couldn't put a shovel. It was like concrete, but it was the soil. And so I took a section of the yard because I wanted to plant flowers. I've always had this dream of like my front porch feeling like the secret garden. And so I wanted to plant. And what I did was I took that hard soil and I just took it step by step by step and started to cultivate the soil so I could make it plantable. And I had to do the same thing with myself on my self-care journey. I was very hard about caring for me, right? Like it was easy for me to do everything for everyone else. But when it came to myself, no, all the guilt. And the guilt was that hard clay. And I had to cultivate myself out of it piece by piece. So you have to start breaking down the barriers and make sure that your garden of self-care thrives so you can make sure that you have rich nutrient soil. Just like I cultivated my yard, you have to cultivate yourself so you can thrive. There is a major culprit that dries up the ground when you are trying to plant, and that sneaks into your self-care space uninvited, and that is guilt. I mean, we don't go seeking the feeling of guilt, but those barriers then manifest as guilt. Sometimes as we prioritize ourselves, when that pesky guilt creeps in, what it's doing is attempting to dim our self-love glow. But I want you to fear not, because we are going to create a guilt-free zone where self-love reigns supreme. Just like I was able to take clay and turn it into where I was able to plant into it this year and stuff grew. So this guilt-free zone is a fortress. You got to make it a fortress of self-compassion, a space where you are free to prioritize yourself without an apology. It's about rewiring your mindset to understand that nurturing your well-being isn't selfish. It's necessary. Just like the right soil is necessary for seeds to thrive, your well-being is necessary for you to thrive in all areas of your life. Here's the truth. When you make self-care a non-negotiable, you're not taking away from others. You're actually enriching your ability to show up for them in a more authentic and meaningful way. You know the saying, you can't pour from an empty cup, but you can from a cup that is overflowing with self-love. Now that's where the magic happens. Let's talk about your tribe, the people who surround you. Cultivate a support system that not only respects your self-care journey, but encourages it. Surround yourself with those who will uplift you, celebrate your wins, and remind you that self-love isn't just okay, it is essential. For those moments when guilt tries to knock on your door, because it will, arm yourself with affirmations. Like this one, repeat after me. I am worthy of my own love and care. Say it loud and proud as many times as you need. Let those words be your shield against guilt, reminding you that you are not just deserving of self-care, you're entitled to it. As you build this guilt-free zone, remember that it is an ongoing journey, just like tending to a garden. It requires constant attention and care. When guilt attempts to take you off course, just gently remind yourself that you're rewriting the rules, breaking free from societal norms that dictate you should always put yourself after everyone else. So, my loves, as you move forward into your self-care revolution, let go of guilt and replace it with grace. Embrace the fact that by caring for yourself, you're contributing positively to the world around you. It's a ripple effect of love, and you are at the center of it. So you have kicked that guilt shit to the curb, and you have a richer inner environment to build up your sacred self-care now, right? So it's time to equip you with the ultimate toolkit. The self-care arsenal is one that helps you keep your blooms of self-love flourishing no matter what challenges come your way. It's like a treasure chest of gems that nourishes your mind, body, and soul. These tools are your go-to remedies for moments when you need a boost, a breather, or a reminder of your worth. So first up, we have journaling, the act of pouring your thoughts on paper, unleashing your creativity, and connecting with your innermost thoughts. Whether it's a stream of consciousness or a gratitude list, journaling is a powerful way to untangle your mind and find clarity. Now let's talk about the next one, my most favorite, meditation. It's not just about sitting cross-legged and chanting, okay? It is a practice that helps you find stillness in the chaos. A few minutes of mindful breathing can make a world of difference, calming your mind and centering your spirit. And I can't skip the joy that comes from movement, especially because for 3 years, I really wasn't able to move, and now I can, and it is so joyful, and I am so glad my body is going, okay? So whether it's dancing, yoga, or a brisk walk in nature, moving your body is an act of self-love. It's a celebration of what your body can do and a reminder that you are alive and thriving. And you don't have to be, this fitness guru. I'm not. Once again, I really wasn't that fit before I got sick. And then I got sick and I was not able to do much of anything at all. And now, I do what I say is physical fitness, and some people might probably laugh at it, but it's a reminder to me that I'm alive and thriving. I'm getting stronger every day, and it feels good just to be able to see the progress that I couldn't even lift 2 pounds. Now I can lift 5 pounds. So not only is it a celebration of what your body can do, but I want you to remember what your body can do. Not what somebody else's body is doing, but what your body is doing to show you that you are alive and thriving. When I first started, the only thing I could do was walk down to the end of my cul-de-sac and back up, and that was it. So celebrate what your body can do, whatever that is, wherever you are. We don't compare. We love ourselves right where we are, because wherever we are is perfectly where we're supposed to be. And don't forget about the power of laughter. And most people who know me will tell you I am very serious. I can be considered stoic, but I do like to laugh. So whether it's a comedy show, a funny podcast, or just like an old-fashioned joke, laughter is a natural stress reliever that releases endorphins and boosts your mood. So I head over to TikTok and I just throw in comedy, and I will just scroll and laugh when I feel like I just need, a boost. Lastly, surround yourself once again with a network that uplifts you. Engage in meaningful conversations. Share your wins. Lean on each other for strength. Your tribe is your safety net, reminding you that you are not alone on this journey. You're not alone. Surround yourself with people who truly love you, the authentic you. As you create your self-care arsenal, remember these are tools that are at your disposal whenever you need them. They're not just band-aids for rough days, they're instruments of empowerment that remind you of your resilience and capability to navigate life's challenges. All right, lovelies, grab your pens and notebooks because it's time for the good stuff, the actionable steps. Time to distill the essence of your self-care revolution into empowered, inspired action. It's time for your one-on-one coaching session happening right here, right now, on how to embrace the revolution within as you plant self-love into the very essence of your existence. Because prioritizing sacred self-care is a radical act of unapologetic empowerment. So are you ready? I want you to ask yourself these questions. What activities truly light you up, that make your spirit feel alive? Can you identify 3 self-care non-negotiables that resonate with you? How can you integrate these non-negotiables into your daily life, no matter how busy life gets? What's one small step you can take today to start prioritizing your self-care non-negotiables without guilt? Remember, this one action step, these questions, is going to take you on a powerful shift towards living life unapologetically through sacred self-care. Embrace it, integrate it, and let it be the foundation upon which you build your journey of self-love. Your self-care revolution starts today with these non-negotiables. And with each choice you make, you're nurturing the beautiful soul that you are. To keep your journey going strong, don't forget to subscribe to the free Live Life Unapologetically monthly digest. This was designed to help you step into your power, crush imposter syndrome, and embrace your authenticity like a boss. Say goodbye to societal norms and hello to living life unapologetically. Remember that each month you are going to get sassy insights of unfiltered wisdom and inspired advice that'll challenge the norms and ignite your inner fire. With that comes savage strategies that are actionable steps that can challenge you, inspire you, and keep you going forward. Plus, spirited meditation that taps into your innate power and helps you channel your inner warrior. I will link the description in the podcast so you can subscribe today, or you can go to livelifeunapologetically.com/digest. That is /digest to begin your free subscription to the Live Life Unapologetically Digest. As we wrap up this episode, I want you to remember the self-care revolution is yours to claim. It's not selfish to prioritize your needs. It's an act of self-respect and self-love. Thank you for being here with me today on the Live Life Unapologetically podcast. If you love this episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a glowing review, and share it with your fellow self-care warriors. Remember, you're a force to be reckoned with, and your journey towards self-love is an inspiration. So go out there and unapologetically shine like the star you are. Until next time, stay fierce, stay fabulous, and always live life unapologetically.